Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. I'm Tracy Daviero, the confidence coach for virtual assistants. If you've already started your VA business, but you're ready for better clients, higher rates, and more consistency, I'm so glad you're here. You are in the right place. Today I want to talk about having a plan, because without knowing where you're actually going, how can you ever get where you want to go, or where you say you want to go? Today's quote is from Abraham Lincoln. "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." This is honestly one of my favorite quotes for business, and the reason is what we're talking about in today's episode. Implementing the actions of what you need to do to be successful is so much easier when you take the actual time to map out the plan first. Let's go. Today we're continuing the conversation around what actually helps your VA business grow. In the last episode, you remember we talked about why your business might not be growing right now, even if you feel like you're putting in the effort. And one of the things I touched on was the idea that a lot of VAs are busy, but not necessarily moving forward. Been there, done that. So today I want to go deeper into that because there's a specific reason that this happens, and it's actually something that I see all the time. Most VAs do not have an actual, simple, clear plan for their business. They're trying things, they're learning, they're taking action in different ways, but none of it's connected. It's not structured. And because of that, it's really hard to build momentum. It can even keep you stuck, or worse, moving backwards, because trying things often leads to what? Shiny object syndrome, right? And that's what we need to avoid to make sure that we're moving forward. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the simple plan that most VAs are missing, why it matters so much, and how having one can completely change the way your business feels and grows. Let's start with what's happening for a lot of VAs right now, and maybe it's happening to you. You're not doing nothing. In fact, you're probably doing quite a bit. You're learning from podcasts like this one, maybe taking courses or programs, watching what other VAs are doing. We do a lot of that, don't we? Tweaking your services, updating your profiles, and trying different ways to find clients. All of that feels productive. It feels like you're working on your business. Busy means you're trying, right? But the problem is that trying things is not remotely the same as following an actual plan. When you're just trying different strategies without any clear direction, it becomes really easy to jump from one thing to another. You might post consistently for a week or two, then stop. You might start reaching out to potential clients, then second guess yourself and maybe pull back. You might adjust your services multiple times because you're still not sure what is right. Without a plan, everything feels a little bit scattered, because it is. And when your actions are scattered, your results are going to be as well. A plan creates focus. It helps you decide what actually matters right now so you're not constantly questioning whether you should be doing something else. I always tell you that writing things down is important, and a big part of the reason for that is that it helps you focus on what you actually need to do. No guessing, but an actual strategy, a process, a goal, an action step, actually many action steps. That's a plan. And when I talk about having a plan, I don't mean something complicated or overwhelming. Actually, the simpler it is, the better. Many plans fail because they're too complicated, too heavy, too much. A good plan gives you 3 things: clarity, direction, and consistency. And clarity means you know what you're offering, who you're speaking to, and how you're positioning yourself. You're not rewriting your services every week or wondering how to explain what it is you do. You've documented it, and now you just have to put it into practice, into conversations. Direction means you know what actions to take. Instead of asking yourself, what should I be doing today? You already know the answer. You have a small set of activities that you know will move your business forward. That's the guts of your plan, the stuff you do every day to move towards the goal. And consistency is what comes from having those first 2 pieces in place. When you're clear on what you're doing and why you're doing it, it becomes so much easier to show up regularly and actually follow through. It's never about doing hours of stuff at once. Never, never, never. It's actually about doing a little every day. And when you do that, it becomes a habit, a new routine. And this is where momentum starts to build. Because instead of starting over every week, you're building on what you did the week before. That's momentum, right? So next, let's talk about what happens when you don't have that structure. Without a plan, everything starts to feel like an option. And while that might sound nice and freeing, it actually creates more mental noise than you need. You wake up and think, should I be posting today? Should I be reaching out to clients? Should I be updating my website? And because there isn't really a clear answer, you either try to do it all or you end up doing nothing. And this is where overwhelm starts to creep in. It's not necessarily because you have too much to do. It's because you don't have a clear way to prioritize what matters most. And that leads to inconsistency. You might have a really productive day where you feel motivated and get a lot done, followed by several days where you're not so sure. Maybe you're overthinking and avoiding the harder tasks. And over time, that inconsistency slows everything down. It's hard to build a business on inconsistent action, even if that action feels strong in the moment. Structure removes a lot of that mental load. It gives you a framework to follow so you're not constantly making decisions from scratch. Structure helps you break things down into meaningful, manageable tasks so you really aren't ever overwhelmed. That's the idea, the bite-sized stuff. I teach this to VAs all the time, and when they actually start doing it, they notice a huge shift in their energy, their progress, and their momentum. This is something that ties directly into the work I do around confidence, and it's really important to understand. A lot of people rely on motivation to take action. They wait until they feel inspired or energized or ready, or at least that's the excuse they give me whenever I ask them about it. They have to wait until they learn something else or organize something else or finish something else. They think it has to feel right before they start. That's a natural assumption, isn't it? But motivation comes and goes. It's not something you can depend on. It is something you can build, but it's not the thing that will get you moving. It's actually an after product of it. A plan, on the other hand, gives you something to follow even when you don't feel like it. A great plan will also allow for different energy levels, so you're always moving forward, even if it's just baby steps for today. And when you follow through on your plan, especially on the days when it feels a bit harder, you start to build trust with yourself. That's really important as a business owner. You prove to yourself that you can be consistent, that you can take action, and that you can keep going. And that is how you build confidence. Not just thinking about what you could do, but actually doing it over and over again in a way that feels manageable, not overwhelming. And that's why structure and confidence are so closely connected. When you have a plan, you don't have to rely on how you feel in the moment. You have something steady to come back to, and that creates a sense of stability. It's so much better to stop relying on how you feel. I actually can't stress this enough. Feelings come and go, and they're not the thing you should rely on to do your business stuff. Because honestly, there's going to be days where you don't feel like doing something, and you still have to. So plans are so much better. If you've been feeling like you're doing a lot but not seeing the results you want, I want you to consider this. It might not be about working harder. It might be about having a clearer, simpler plan that actually guides your actions. Like I said, a plan that allows for high energy days and lower energy days. I think that part is so important because when you have that, everything starts to feel different. You spend less time overthinking, you take action more consistently, and you start to see progress, which builds confidence, which leads to even more action. And that's how momentum is created. This is exactly what we'll focus on inside my Booked and Busy Bootcamp. Over 90 days, we'll take all of the guesswork out of what you should be doing and give you a simple, structured approach to growing your business. You'll get really clear on your services, take consistent action to attract and connect with clients, and build your confidence along the way. Not in theory, but through real actions and real progress. So instead of trying to piece everything together on your own, you have a plan that actually works and support to help you through it. If that's what you'd be needing, I'd love for you to join me in this group. It's learning, it's practicing, it's networking, it's taking action, it's getting feedback and improving, it's accountability, and it's also fun. And it's very affordable. You can check out the details at yourvamentor.com/links. It's called Booked and Busy Bootcamp, 12 weeks of weekly training and coaching to get you moving to where you want to go. If you have questions about whether this group is for you, just send me a DM and let's talk about it. Thank you so much for being here with me today on the Ridiculously Good VA Show. And remember, your business doesn't grow because you try more things. It grows because you follow a clear plan, stay consistent, and build momentum over time. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time.